All right. Hi, and welcome back to the Quarantine Explorations. I think that's what we decided to call it. I'm Jennifer Marilyn, and I have the amazing Thelma O'Hades joining here to, to talk about all the things that we think are really important right now. And Thelma and I, we've known each other for over a decade, and we met in a silent meditation, and we have traveled together, we have grown together, we have, we live on different continents, but we have been connected by our souls from the very moment that we first met. And I love when the universe brings you the people that you need. And I love when we honor that and hold on to that, because these relationships are special. And I love you, Thelma.
I love you too. And we went from maidens to mothers, and we have boys, so we did the whole, it's been a whole thing.
Totally. Yeah, lots of, and speaking of boys, her boy is still around in her room. Mine are upstairs, hopefully going to be there the whole time. We'll see. So Thelma and I were just talking just before I hit record about how, this time during the pandemic, this COVID-19 is one, it's all new, right? It's new, and it's creating massive change so fast. And I feel like, we have been leading up to this. We've been leading up to this, from an environmental point of view. We've been leading up to this about the Me Too movement. I feel like we've been, leading up to this about, being conscious about what's in our food. I feel like, in all of these areas, we've been leading up to this. And now all of a sudden, it's all happening. And I know that Thelma consistently is connected and works with the divine. And I wanted to have a conversation with Thelma to talk about this, and and this central, global spiritual awakening that I think that this is what is. And yeah, if there's no one else I can think of that I would rather dive into this with, Thelma.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay.
So, COVID, right? This virus, it's been great watching it, right? And I want to, I really want to start with, and this probably seems not connected, and hopefully I make it all the way around to connected within one sitting. But I feel like we've all asked, we're getting what we've been asking for as a collective in a way that we didn't expect it. So now we're like boo-hooing about that instead of riding it out, right? And making the most of it.
Yep.
And actually having integrity with our word and honoring that, because then that would shift the way this whole thing is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's really been present to me, and still continuing to hear people and how they're talking about what they're saying. And it's like, so that's, let's start. I will start there.
Yeah, I think, Thelma, I think you're totally right. We've been wanting this. We didn't ask for it to come this way. But I feel like with any process of manifestation, where you put out that this is what you want, you put all of the energy, and all of the feelings with it, and it doesn't always manifest the way that you think it will, especially when we aren't clear about the details, right? And so, the clearer we can get about the details and how we want things to unfold, the easier it is for the universe to help us create that, and
exactly. Right.
And finding that,
right. So then, because if you look at it, all the things that people wanted more time with their families, right? They didn't want to be at work, so they get more time with their families. People want to have a chance to eat healthier, so you have your chance to eat healthier. People want to stop the pollution, right? We've been asking, stop the pollution, stop the pollution. pollution stop. We wanted to stop deforestation, right? Stop deforestation. That's how everything had to stop. So now, like, we've been asking for all these different things and save the animals, right? Like, nobody's doing nothing right now. The animals are being saved, right? So much so that supposedly endangered animals are now coming out, because everything has quieted down so much. So it's like, yo, we're getting everything that we've been asking for. And if we would just turn the box off, right? Just turn the TV fucking off. Stop listening to all the propaganda.
Mm.
Get yourself right. Get your head right. Focus on the you. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so with that. And I want to add as well. So, and I know that this is a touchy thing, and I know that I've been impacted as well with the Me Too movement. And I feel like that one is also something that we've been wanting to change, right? We've been wanting to change how the interaction is between men and women at work, right? And we've been doing that. And now we are redefining what touch is. Like what touch is acceptable, what touch is not acceptable. Like we are being so aware finally about how we are interacting with our bodies, our hands, with everything else and everyone else. Finally. It didn't come the way we thought it would.
Yeah.
But it was already
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's
How does it get bigger than that, right? There's so many that you didn't think of that one. Genius.
It's like all of these things, we were building all of this, and Thelma, I know that you are a master manifester as well, and that process of like, you really like get clear about what you want, what you want, or at least you have the feeling of what that is that you want, and you put it out there, right? Like totally charged with the feelings, and a visual, and then you allow that to kind of come back, right? And I definitely know when I haven't been clear enough how I'll get things that I'm like, well, okay, this happened. That's not really how I thought it would, but okay, next time I'll be better with my details, right? And I feel like, this is now our chance to refine, what those details are. And there are so many emotions happening right now that we can use to help fuel the next new normal.
But this is what I love about you and I, like, kiss your head, right? Because you like that detail part of it, where I've been working on it from the other side on some, what if I trusted enough for better than I could even imagine? Like, what if I trusted in the details? Like, surprise me, right? Like, I don't even know. I think that it needs to be like this or like that, and I want it to live it this way and that way, right? And you might have something better for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for me, it's like practicing and just trusting the process of it all, right? And trusting that as, oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
Did that pop up for you?
Yeah. It said it gifted
Okay.
us another 40 minutes, and
So
you know
we
what?
can.
I will happily accept that gift. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
And you were just
Thank
talking
you.
about unexpected, things, right? Like here's a better
Right.
than we can expect.
Little surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but I was talking about trusting the self. Yeah, it's gone. But I think that's the basis, right? Like, just trusting yourself and trusting in the process of life and the creator, because it's magnificent, right? Then these crazy things happen that you would have never dreamt of, and we call them miracles and stuff like that, and it makes life really juicy and exciting.
So Thelma, I want to talk a little bit about transformation, specifically in the same kind of pattern that we're in right now, right? Like we knew some change was happening, it was coming along, and now all of a sudden, it's like an enormous divine intervention, right? Where everything gets stopped instantly, and we have only time to heal, and only time to think about all of this stuff, and only time to work on how we're perceiving these things and work on the way that our thoughts are kind of like processing things, right? And then there will come that time when we emerge again as a new version of ourselves, as a new version of society. And And I'm curious your thoughts if you were to take this kind of parallel and apply it to like the process of transformation. And I'm just curious if anything comes up for you with that.
It's like a cocooning,
Mm-hmm.
right? You go into your cocoon, and I keep hearing like you got to sift through the shit, right? Like while you're in it, it's like what was working? Use the time, right? What's been working? Reflect. What doesn't work anymore? What would I like to create? Play in that field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we overcomplicate it sometimes, right? The transformation or like we think it has to be this, I don't know, like mystical experience. But it's, as I'm getting older and the more I practice, I'm like, it's really just like a self-reflection, right?
Expand, please.
Like it's just self-reflection.
Keep going.
Well, you just stop for a moment and stop looking out. That's why my emails like begin within. It's like stop looking everywhere for the answers and things, and like sit with yourself. And there's this quiet voice that's in all of us, right? And if we take this time, because we ain't got nothing else to do, right? To strengthen that and be with that. Then it gets a little louder and a little louder. And then you start seeing how moving from that space creates these waves of what we call coincidences or synchronicities. Like, oh, I was just thinking about that person and they called me, or, things that we write off. But that's actually the magic, the, the, the signs, I don't know if I like the word signs, but those are the signs that come up in life.
Yeah,
So
I think that those signs, they're totally, and they're everywhere all the time. The universe is always trying to get our attention, to communicate with us if we're
right,
open to the messages, and if we're open to seeing through
right.
those eyes that, magic is in every day, and that, that you can be communicated to via vibration or by something that spurs a thought, or, that sometimes, these beautiful ideas might just land somewhere in your consciousness, right? Like it's so beautiful
I
the way
used to think
communication.
like it had to be.
Come again?
I'm sorry. Good.
No. What did you say?
I used to think that the messages were gonna come in some like divine mystical sort of thing, and what I'm really getting hip to is like they're just quick little thoughts that come in, and I usually don't even, and then literally like even just now when I was coming in, I thought about my grandmother, and then I turned the corner and she's standing right there, and I was like, oh, it was outside. I didn't expect her to be outside. It's kind of cold outside. So just little things like that we tend to write off, that it's like, oh no, we're all connected, like there's something greater going on, and it's like cultivating the practice with that knowing, with that trust,
And that part of us all being connected, I feel like, this pandemic is really making it super clear how connected we really are, right? Like that, all of a sudden there's this thing that, from our regular eyes we cannot see, that, that you can see under a microscope, but you can see the impact of, and you can see the effect of, and it's something that is widely spreading, right? But it's not something that we can physically just be like, oh, like, here's a pillow. I have a very large pillow next to me, or, like it's that ability to connect, I feel is always there in for like anything. And I really came to this spot yesterday. I'm just going to check it. So, I was dancing around in the lounge room, and I was transported back to a time a long time ago, and I was so in the joy and so in the zone, just rocking out. The baby was around, kind of, and I was just like, dancing full out, right? And I had these memories of like all of these, beautiful moments when I've just been that free and dancing and just just feeling that flow and connecting back to all of those different memories, right? And in that moment I was like, this is spirituality, and I feel like, sometimes we make it so complex, but it's not. Like spirituality to me now 100% is all about connection, and it's about, being connected to the past and the future and the now and the brother and the sister and the friend and the neighbor and the trees and the sky and the worms and the breath and the everything, right? Like that is it. Like it's just feeling a connection to all that is, that I can see and I cannot see, that I can feel and I cannot feel. Like it's a connection to all of it, and I feel like that's another part of why I just really feel like this is the spiritual awakening, because here is this virus that is now showing how connected we really are. That was a bit of a rant.
It's good. I thought in that, I wonder, right, if that's now a part of us, right, because it becomes a virus that gets in your body, so it becomes a part of you, and now it's a part of all of us. So we all got this shit that we definitely know is connecting us. And I wonder if instead of moving with it through like fear and like looking at it like, oh, now we're another way we're all connected, and like loving it, like sending love to it and being grateful for it's happening, I wonder how that would mutate the molecules of the thing to make it something that could be beneficial to us in ways that are way, way, way greater than we could ever even fucking imagine for like children's, right? Like, what if something will happen with it and mutate us now, so that now our children are being mutated and their children will be mutated, but they'll be able to, I don't know, have stronger bodies or something. I don't know, whatever. I don't even want to, surprise me.
Yeah, or more compassion.
And if we move through it.
See, look, you're like, let's open it up. And I'm like, more compassion. Let's have more compassion. Seriously.
No, but like, how when that Chinese doctor dude that like put the like would write love on the water and then look at the molecules.
Yeah.
And see how it affected it.
Yes.
Right. So right now, COVID is death and fear. That's what we've marked it like, right? So if we change that, if we shifted the way we looked at it and found a way to be grateful and appreciate it for things that we don't even know is doing for our benefit, I wonder how that would shift what everyone's feeling, how everyone's feeling. I just wonder. I'm just curious. I don't know, right? But it to me, that feels way better than everybody sitting around talking about all the people that are dying being dragged into freezers, Yeah. And that would add to our spiritual awakening, because it would become a part of our practice of trusting in the divine and aligning with our words,
Thelma, that's so beautifully put. You are one of the most articulate people I know, and I'm going to just reiterate on that. So for anyone who is watching, what can you see that is good in this? What can we find that we can be grateful for about this virus? Let's turn it, let's flip it, and let's find a way to help transform the way we are perceiving it, so that we are actively putting out a different vibration and share the love.
That's right.
All right. Thelma, thank you so very much. I love you, love you, love you. The best. Thank you.
Love you too. Thank you. Right. See you next week.
Looking forward to it.